This week, a listener wonders if she has enough in common with her boyfriend for things to work. But is that the right question to ask? But first, everyone says age is just a number. Is it? Welcome to the talking phase. Hello, and welcome to the Talking Phase podcast on this beautiful Friday. Although we're not recording on a Friday, but we always drop on Friday, so welcome to Friday.
What month is it?
Oh, who knows? I'm extremely excited for today's show because we're going to be talking about some fun stuff. But first, I need to let everybody know that we recorded a few episodes early because Pam was heading off to France. By the time this episode drops, Pam will be back from France.
Crazy.
She will probably be a chain smoker and speak funny.
One
But
can hope.
she will be back. But I will not. I will be on my long trip. Normally, my business trips are generally 2 or 3 days, so it's not a big deal. But this one happens to be almost 2 full weeks. So we're having to record this one a little bit early, but this one will drop. I think this is going to drop on September 20th. But after that, we should be getting pretty much back to real time. So with that said, Pam, I know you can't tell us how France was since you haven't even left yet, even though you're going to be back when this one drops. But how was France?
Oh, God, it was everything I imagined, everything I dreamed about. We are gearing up still to go. I've actually been thinking a lot about last weekend when we celebrated mine and Nikki's birthday because Tom got me a gift for my birthday. Got me a couple of gifts for my birthday, and one of them is very, very cool. It's a T-shirt. Now I can't remember what it says on it, but it definitely implies that I'm rooting for Taylor Swift's boyfriend when football season gets going. And I happen to love that because I'm not a big investor in football. I don't have a team. So last year we did root for the Chiefs because it is Taylor Swift's boyfriend. So I look forward to wearing those shirts, especially, if there's somebody over that is rooting for the other team. But that's not my favorite gift. My favorite gift, probably, I don't know, at least the one I'm getting the most use out of is a bidet. And I don't know how many people out there own a bidet or even know that you can own a bidet. But like when we go to Europe, I love nothing more than turning those things on. It is just the cleanest, freshest feeling that you will ever have after using the bathroom. We're not going to get into anything detailed here.
It's number 2, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's pretty refreshing in all areas. But Tom bought me a bidet, and I told him that it better come with installation. So he installed it for me, and I'm here to tell you,
nice.
Yes, you are the best friend a girl could hope for. That's a man that can do things, and so I really have enjoyed that gift more than I can tell you. Oh, look at that. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can see a picture of my daughter and I holding up the T-shirts. I forgot to mention that he got this. Did I say you got that shirt for Nikki too?
I didn't. You didn't.
Okay, well, he did. He bought the same shirt for Nikki. And so there's a picture of the two of us holding the shirt. So if you're dying to see that, get on over to YouTube and you can check that out. I don't think we have a picture of the bidet, though.
No, especially not in use.
Right. Well, that's never going to happen. But I'm telling you, for the Americans that aren't familiar with that, go on Amazon, order yourself a bidet, find somebody to install it for you, and life altering. And other than that, all I've been doing is packing and unpacking because I don't know what to bring. So on my trip,
I'm going to tell you that after installing that for Pam, I thought, wow, that was easy as hell. So I went ahead and got online and ordered one for myself so that when I got home, it was ready for me. So I installed it before I even went to bed that night.
We should talk on the phone one night when we're both on the toilet using our bidets.
Ew.
No, not good.
Yeah,
not FaceTime.
Yeah,
forget it. It's off the table.
Off the table. Yeah, that's gross. I have a rule. I never talk to anyone when I'm going to the bathroom, number 1 or 2, no matter what. Oh. That's just a rule.
Your phone has a mute button, though.
It also has a hang up button that I can call back later.
Yeah. Wasted time.
So no, I've been actually. I know that you said on our last episode that you had to pack like 24 to 30 outfits for your 2 week trip.
Right.
Um, I am prepping for my long trip, and I will go in a carry-on. There will not be any checked bags. I never overpack. Um, but that's just me. I refuse to check a bag. So I will tell you, as everybody knows, I'm going out to Salt Lake. I am going to be seeing my kids. I could not be more excited because I was out in Salt Lake a couple of weeks ago, planned to see my kids, but I freaking got COVID. And
Right.
so I did not see my kids. So I haven't seen my kids for a long time. Really excited about that. Going to see my family. I think y'all know I'm seeing my dad. He turned 93 a few weeks ago. Um, Bless you, Pam.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. How dare you have a bodily function?
I know.
Um,
Ill-timed.
anyway, but I am mixing business with pleasure for my trip. I am actually going to be working pretty much during the day. We're trying to bring on a new member of the team. And who knows, Brian might be coming out to Salt Lake for a day or two of my trip to do some work out there. Did you ever figure that out, Brian?
Who's Brian?
Yeah, I actually think I'm going to be able to make it, Tom. So we should reconnect offline. But yes, I think we can make it.
Okay. So other than preparing for the trip to Salt Lake, what do you got going on, Brian?
Oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Last episode, I had the Wiggles in my head. Now I am going back to my childhood when I grew up with Thomas the Tank Engine. So I was a huge Thomas the Tank Engine fan when I was growing up. And my daughter, when she came home, it was day 3 of life. And I jokingly put Thomas the Tank Engine on, and I took a picture, and I said, "Gotta get her brainwashed early." Like, LOL. My daughter loves Thomas the Tank Engine, and she loves it to the point that she can name probably like 15 or so of the actual engines. It's and she's 17 months, by the way, just for context. But no, every morning we wake up, I get her upstairs. I have to give Puppy, Kitty, and Curly, which is her little bear, gotta give him a big hug. And then we come downstairs and we have a banana and we watch Thomas. And she just loves it. She will watch it for hours. So yeah, just a lot of the classic Thomas episodes. George Carlin, he was the conductor / narrator for the old episodes for the American version. Or if you want to watch the ones from over in the UK, Ringo Starr, former Beatles drummer. So that's where my head's at.
Listen, let me interrupt Brian for a second to point out that Brian is the same age as our older kids, basically. So when he says his childhood, he's talking like Zach watched Thomas the Train too. He's 21 now. And how old are you, Brian?
I am 32.
He's 32. So he's 2 years older than my daughter, Nikki. And so your childhood is very different than we were watching Sesame Street. And I think that's probably all. Oh, and Mr. Rogers. That's all there was.
Yep.
Hey, so, I watched them too, by the way.
And the
I know nothing. These things don't go out of style like Teletubbies and all that. It just doesn't go out of style.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Well, so let me tell you guys, one of the things, as you guys all know, from the last episode, I had flown out to celebrate Pam and Nikki's birthday. Well, we went to a bunch of restaurants, or a couple of restaurants. And one of the things, and this shows how old I am, I noticed how loud everything was. And part of it was, well, we were in very loud restaurants. And I learned something about myself, that if I can't hear the people I'm with, I tend to people watch and make fun of people. I tend to make fun of people anyway, but
I can't believe you're even talking about that on the podcast, because I just keep going. This is so funny.
One of the people that I made fun of was one of the waiters at this tapas restaurant that we did. Brian, can you pull that thing up? So for those of you who are on YouTube, you'll be able to see who I believe is a serial killer. He looks exactly like Jeffrey Dahmer.
You guys have to jump over to YouTube so you can see
this. So just for context, guys, Tom shared this to me on the side, and he's like, can you get ready to share that? And I had zero context, and I'm like, why are we sharing a picture of Jeffrey Dahmer's son?
And he's a nice looking guy. You guys really need to tell us in the comments on YouTube if you think he looks like him.
Also, if you are watching this and this is you, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, but and he's a cute guy. This is typical of Tom and I. Tom will say something about somebody people watch and maybe pick on them a little bit, and then I'm always like, but I really like her sweater, and I like that she took the extra time to get dressed pretty, or you know, Tom is more of the, oh,
Well,
I see we have
for
Jeffrey Dahmer.
context, there's a picture of Jeffrey Dahmer for those who are watching on YouTube. And if
He
you
does
don't if you don't think those two are doppelgangers,
And we're going back and forth. So yes, there's no question that he looks like this guy. We are not the first people to think it. We may be the first. You may be the first person to say it.
to publicly say it,
But at least you
on
haven't said it to
YouTube.
him. Well, maybe. Well, he probably doesn't listen to our podcast. I don't think he's our target
Yeah,
audience.
I just
JD Jr. He doesn't listen.
yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Well,
Tom
anyway,
likes Tom, but we're not going to talk about any other comparisons that we did that night to people looking like other people. That actually is a little bit fun.
yeah,
Me.
there was another lady that I kept saying, "God, she looks like a salamander," but
I never saw that, but I did learn this weekend.
Wait, how does somebody look like a salamander?
That's such a great question. I have no idea.
I don't know.
Tom, you are a quite critical person.
Yes, I am.
Yes. And so even if we're watching something like a show and he says something negative about somebody on the show, he can say like, why is she wearing that belt? And I'll be like, well, it's really pretty. It probably has a key. It's, wardrobe gave it to her, or something like that. So we are yin and yang when it comes to this, because I will look at the same person with the pretty sweater on and be like, oh God, that's darling that she took the time to get that on and really feels so pretty. And Tom will be like, why the fuck is she wearing that? Like,
Yeah,
that didn't add to the outfit. And I'm like, but she feels pretty. So we are.
Case in point. And by the way, this actually takes us to our topic.
It does a little, as that table.
We're sitting at this table at this tapas place, and right at the table right next to us, where there were probably 20 people or so there,
maybe more. I think even.
Yeah, it might have been 30. It was a big birthday party for this
woman,
sweet
older woman, probably
hag.
65, maybe 70.
I'm going 70 plus at least.
Okay.
And she, we didn't know these people. But again, I couldn't hear anything that was going on at our table. So I'm just looking around, and all of a sudden here's this 70 plus year old woman standing kind of between our two tables.
Very close.
Right next to me. And I'm looking at her, and here's this overweight, short, hunchback, 75-year-old woman wearing a very sheer shirt or top, so I could see her. I don't know if it was a bra or what was underneath there, but it was definitely supposed to be sexy. And I leaned over to Pam and I just went, I'm so glad that this woman wore her sexy outfit for the birthday or something like that. And Pam's like, oh, you are so mean. Okay, whatever. But yeah, I mean,
whatever.
But it brings us to our topic today. And this topic came up because, as a lot of you know, since I was in town just last week at Pam's place, I was there to help celebrate her birthday. So Pam just turned 57. 29.
In a year, Tom's going to be calling me a hag for sure.
Yeah, if you're turning 75.
You better not call me a hag no matter how old I am, or the podcast is over.
Anyway, I'm just a few months behind Pam. I turned 57 in March, so I'll be, what is that, 5 months from now or something like that. I mean, I'm not too far behind.
Right.
But as I helped, or no, I didn't help. How do you do that? I celebrated Pam's birthday with her. And we had a lot of conversations, and have had a lot of conversations about just the idea of aging, which is just a nice way of saying that we're getting older.
We are. Thank God, because the alternative would suck.
Yes. But the reality is, a lot of people, you hear that, 50 is the new 30 and, stuff like that. But everybody says that age is just a number. But is it really? Pam, what do you think?
I figured you were asking me. Well, age is just a number from the very black and white perspective of that question, but no. I actually stumbled onto an article. I sent it to you. I'm not sure if you had time to read it. That
I don't know how to read.
tells you that the aging process doesn't happen yearly, that there are two chronological numbers where you do the vast majority of your aging. I think I don't remember what the first one was, and I think the second one was 50, probably 56 or 55. It was right. I really dislike the article.
It was
but
56 to 57.
Yeah, it was right in there with my age. So I read the article, and it's a very scientifically written article, and it does make you think about what you can do to fight aging. And so aging to me at 57 is a lot more than a number, because I have brown hair. If you're watching us on YouTube or if you watch us on TikTok, you know that I have brown hair. But if age was just a number, I would not have to have gone today to the hairdresser to have my hair colored to maintain the same color that I was born with. I would just have brown hair, and I don't. I have a tremendous amount of gray hair now. I'd say I'm probably 60-40, 60% brunette, 40% gray. So I have run out of pigment. There's no way to not feel the aging process when
Pam is
you run.
pigment free.
Well, I'm telling you, like, when you have to start color, people will say all the time, oh, you should just go gray. Like, if you see me, if you know me, I have pretty long brown hair. I didn't mean it's pretty. I meant it's pretty long and it's brown. And I have no desire to go gracefully gray. So that's not going to happen. But there's so many things that happen as we age. I'm 5 years post-menopause. Your bones get thinner. You stop ovulating. You stop having a period. Your hair gets thinner. You have to work out twice as hard to stay in shape. You have to eat half as much to not gain weight. I mean, the list is so long, and we will continue to discuss other things about aging, but no, age is not just a number. But mentally, I understand from that perspective. Do I feel older? Yes, I do. I feel older than I did 10 years ago. But do I act older? Well, I hope not. I hope that I still am very young at heart. I feel young at heart.
Well, I don't know if this is going to show up here on YouTube, but thinking of aging, I just got this text. I don't know if you can read that,
I
anybody,
can't.
but it's about, I just got a spam text about instant acting ED overnighted to your door, add inches or pay nothing.
Oh,
So
somebody's listening to us. That's not good.
that's a perk of getting older, is you get spam texts about ED medication.
And they always want you to join that freaking AARP. They've been trying to get me to join since I was 45. Like, what the hell?
I
Go
joined.
away. Yeah, you joined.
You bet I did. You pay 10
Yeah.
bucks a year, whatever it is, and you get discounts all over the damn place.
I
That's a
will
wonderful thing.
eventually join, but today
I
is
have
not.
my pride is far lower than my desire for good deals.
Well, I'd get the movie price. See, when you go to the movies and you're over 55, you get a senior discount. And I don't understand. I mean, I take it. I've been taking it since I was 45. But at the end of the day, like, why is it less important to entertain me at 55? Am I so old that you have to give me a $3 or $4 break? I mean, like,
Well, at 55, it takes a little extra effort to get out of the house.
whatever. That's not
Well,
true.
so let's talk about you talked about gray hair, working out, that kind of stuff. You know, should we age gracefully? You know, you have long hair.
Yes.
Most
And it's mine. I'm pulling on it if you're watching us on YouTube.
most women at some point, and I don't know when that point is, they do accept the gray. And again, men do this too. I'm just talking about women right now, though. They accept the gray at some point. You don't want to be 90 years old and still have 2 feet of hair and it's all brown, because anyone's like, oh yeah, that's real.
We'll see about that.
Okay. And also they generally end up with shorter hairstyles. Now, I don't know why that is,
I don't either.
but you don't have a schedule planned for that?
No, I guess if I looked in the mirror and I was old enough to feel like my hair made me look ridiculous, I would cut it shorter. I think women do that because they say that the end of your hair, it drags down the features on your face. So like having a shorter hairstyle is supposed to make you look younger as you get older. I don't know what the number is though. You know, somebody says you're not supposed to wear skinny jeans anymore at 56 or 57 or 50, but I still only own skinny jeans. when my body can no longer wear skinny jeans, I won't wear them.
Yeah. Well, for the first time in my life, I'm kind of thin, so I'm wearing them.
I know you wear skinny jeans, and but you have embraced whatever color your hair is. I mean, you're a silver hair fox. That's what we call good looking men with gray hair. You don't, I think you would look silly with brown hair, but then again, I've never seen you with any other hair color.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, my natural color is fire engine red. No, just kidding.
Oh,
Well, let's talk about aging and dating for a second.
okay. You don't want to talk about the hair that grows on our faces when we get older?
Oh, well, I don't want to talk about any
Okay.
hair on, no. I mean, the hair on my face, I think I may have told this when the first time I noticed my beard was going gray. I mean, it used to be very dark. It was almost auburn. It was a dark brown with just a hint of red in it.
Right.
It was a cool beard, I thought. Well, one day I'm washing my face I wash my face before I go to bed at night. I was washing my face and there was soap in my beard and it wouldn't go away no matter how much I rinsed it.
Oh
And I
no.
literally sat there rinsing the end of my beard right here on my chin for like 2 minutes going, where is this soap coming from? And it took me like 2 minutes to realize, oh shit, that's gray hair.
That's really funny though.
Yeah, that's the first time I ever noticed. But
Well,
when we talk about aging in dating,
right. Fun times.
is there an age appropriate range or should you just date whoever the hell you want?
I think it's personal preference. I think that I know people who have dated people much younger than them and had great relationships. You see it in Hollywood all the time.
Those aren't great relationships. That's
Well,
money.
I mean, there are successful relationships with people who are 10, 15, 20 years different in age. I mean, maybe they're not I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. But, I do think it's personal preference when, I'm in a relationship now, but when I was dating, my age range was set from, I think it was 45 to 60. So, I would go 10 years younger and 5 years older.
10 years younger, 5 years older. See, and I just go 7 each direction.
Right. You're a little more regimented. And and I would go within a couple years of each one of those. I think it just depends on the person and how much you have in common with them. And let's face it, it comes down to physical attraction. So if somebody is dating somebody that's 60 or 65 and they look 60 or 65, they may not get the same dates from the younger women as somebody who is holding up better as they age or taking better care of themselves.
That's an interesting thing because, and I think the way you just said that, you say, oh, it all comes down to physical attraction. And I'm going to vehemently disagree with you because I think I've said that on here. When I first got divorced, one of the people I dated was like 26 years old. I just thought, hey, this is great. I'll go out with this totally hot 26-year-old.
Right.
That was the most boring hour of my life.
Well, that's a big age difference.
Well, yeah. But it's not all about physical attraction. That's my point.
Right.
She was definitely physically attractive. She was hot as hell. But, and I'm not even gonna say she was dumb, but our interests were so far apart. I mean,
Right.
she was talking about people that I've never even heard of that apparently are like totally, in today's pop culture. I'm talking about things like Metallica, Guns N' Roses, movies that, Star Wars, whatever this is my life and that's always kind of made me happy. She's
Right.
talking about stuff that I'm like, what the hell are you even talking about? So anyway, that's
The
why
generational divide is a big deal. And Gen X, we really like other Gen Xers. It's just, we came from an era that somebody in their 20s or 30s just simply can't relate to. That level of,
can I'll just jump in because all those
Who's that?
bands and stuff that Tom said, I'm a big fan of, right?
well,
Like
they've come back around. They're still here. My son is 21 and he follows all those bands too. So
2 episodes ago, I was singing Foreigner and talking about how great Styx is. Like,
that was a great
I think
concert.
for every kind of assumption though, like that, like there are people like me, like I'm not in the dating pool, obviously, but like there are younger folk like me out there who do like appreciate those kind of things. I guess are older souls at heart. So that's just something to consider too. Like,
But that's just music. Like they're not going to be able to sit and discuss what medications they're taking for cholesterol or blood pressure or, any of those things that are just gonna happen, because our bodies were not meant to go as long as they're going now. I think we used to have a longevity of what, between 50 to 55 years old, maybe even younger, was how long people were living
Oh yeah.
100 years ago. So we are outliving what our bodies are capable of, which is why there are pharmaceutical companies are doing so well in selling us supplements. One of the things that makes me the most uncomfortable is taking medication in front of people, and yet I take medication sporadically throughout the morning and the evening. Nothing during the afternoon, but like I have morning pills and I have night pills. And yeah, I didn't have that 10 years ago. And so it does make me feel old. It makes me feel old to be on medications to keep my body running efficiently.
Well, and one of the things about medications, I sure hope that I never get to the point in my life where like my life depends on taking medication at a certain time or anything, because
Right.
I have proven to myself that I suck at this. I have, ever since I had that surgery last December, I'm supposed to take some medications. And there are two specific, they're not medications, they're supplements. Two supplements that they're supposed to be like 2 hours apart at least. So I always just figure I'll take one in the morning and one at night.
Right.
I haven't taken the night one since December because
Oh,
I just
shame.
suck at this. So I get up in the morning and I take a handful of supplements, and that's the end of it. And so I try to supplement. And it's a calcium thing that I take that I'm supposed to take at night. So I just try to eat plenty of calcium.
And I'm the opposite of Tom. So I know exactly when I'm supposed to take different pills, and I take them when they're going to have the maximum effect. So whether that's on an empty stomach, whether that's not with a different kind of pill, and a lot of those are supplements also. But again, supplements, the word supplements, like, I think I remember when I used to I take a vitamin D and a vitamin C and, some fish oil and vitamin K and probiotics. And I can clearly remember when I never took a supplement. And I eat really healthy. So I know I get some of those things. But you know what? Every time they run my blood, the numbers are not quite where I would like them. And I'm taking all these supplements. So that's
Well,
aging.
yeah, that's part of aging. And I will say the other thing that's interesting about that is um, I always say that the best exercise is the exercise you actually do. And that's what I say about supplements. The best supplements are the ones you actually take. And so whether I'm supposed to take them like every hour, every 3 hours, or once in the morning, once in the night, you know what?
You're
If I'm taking them, I'm getting something.
Yeah, well,
Um,
that's for sure, and as long as your blood work is fine, then it's fine. But if you guys aren't getting your blood work done and you're in your 50s or older, you should be getting it done, because we just don't absorb things the way that we used to. I mean, what about men having to take Viagra as they get older? Like, things don't happen so naturally anymore.
well, I'm glad I got that text today.
Yeah, you don't know
Instant acting, ED, overnighted to your door.
you don't know what's coming down the pipeline for you.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I am at this point really happy that I haven't had to take Viagra or whatever those other ones are, but I am so glad it's available.
Yeah, nobody wants to be forced out of sex.
Exactly. Let's talk about sex.
Okay,
Let's
sure.
talk about sex when we age, because I'm going to tell you right now, here I am in my 50s, and I will tell you that sex was one of those things that when you're 20 or whatever, how do you know how to do this? How do you know how to do it right? How do you know? And I don't know about the rest of the world. Again, I can only speak from my experience as a recovering Mormon. There wasn't a lot of experience, in fact, zero, before I got married. And then I got married and didn't get a lot of experience while I was married. And so as the kids call it, my body count is pretty damn low. And so here I am in my 50s, and I guess my pride has lowered to the point where I'm willing to ask for instructions. I appreciate any guidance I can get when you're getting solid, because I don't have mommy parts. And so I need help to know when to do and what to do and how to do it. And so I appreciate it. And I don't know if everybody else feels that way, but I would have never done that in my 20s or 30s. I would have been too embarrassed. What are your
Well,
thoughts?
I think it's terrible that you've been married twice and that nobody has already given instruction or at least told you what they like and told you. But I think we're all a little bit different, so there's no way to know that what somebody else likes another woman is going to like. But I definitely feel the thing that I find most alarming in my 50s. So I was married until I was 52. And so I was single for the last 5 years. And, other than a couple situationships, I hadn't really wanted to or been looking for a long-term relationship. So the only sex that I had was in the dark. And there wasn't really much going, kind of hit it and go. And just, it was casual, very, very casual. So my biggest nerve came from the thought of being naked for the first time in front of somebody new, you know, over 55, it's no matter how hard you work in the gym, no matter how much you diet, you are not going to have the body of a 30-year-old at 57. And so it's, what you had, what you look like, and what you look like now. And that doesn't, my self-esteem is fine. I feel comfortable in my skin, but you want somebody else to find you physically attractive, and you don't know if they will, because nobody's seen you naked but the same person for the last 20 years, and they've seen you at your best, and now you're in your 50s. And so that to me was the most nerve-wracking part of dating and being in a relationship right
Interesting.
now.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, and hopefully, my partner was definitely made aware of the fact that I had some insecurities. And if they hadn't made me feel more confident or made me feel good about myself, I probably wouldn't be as confident as I am now. So I didn't know how I was going to feel. And I'm sure a lot of people listening have walked this road, whether it's a man not knowing how to ask somebody new what they want, and they're older and takes longer to get where you're going. And, women who have been with the same person for a long time or taking their clothes off with the lights on for the first time and hoping that the new person who's now seeing the older version of you is going to like it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's all. I think that's all 100% accurate, and it's a little bit different for me right now because, everybody who's listened to this knows that I've lost a lot of weight over the last little bit. I work out a lot, so I've never been this confident.
Which is great.
So I not that I'm like, I still have my physical flaws, I promise, but I've never felt this good about my physical.
But we're aging. We're
Yeah.
aging. And even as good as we might be right now, things head south. They just do. Gravity's going to take over. That table sitting next to us at the restaurant, like, I was just thrilled to see so many people having a great time out. It didn't matter to me what they wore, like how ridiculous some of the outfits might have been. Like, I want to be sitting at that table in 20 years. I want to still feel pretty enough to pull something out of my closet that I think is sexy. Hopefully whoever I'm with will like it or say, this isn't the best possible outfit you could choose. I'm willing to bet that woman was single and that she's probably a blast. But
She was there with her husband.
oh, she was, but he probably, they've grown old together. I think there's something to be said for the comfort that comes with aging with a partner, but a lot of people are aging still single.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a lot more pressure when it comes to taking your clothes off, or, your gray hair, my gray roots showing, and spray painting them in between color so that the person that I'm with won't see all of that gray. Cause I want to look as young as I feel. And I don't always look as young or I don't always think that that's the case. Sometimes I feel my age sometimes.
Yeah, well, that's you got some aches and pains that just show up, and I mean, I think it was Louis C.K. who did a bit when he was 47. He said he went to see the doctor, and and he had his ankle was sore, and the doctor said, "Well, you could do these stretches in the morning." He goes, "Oh, okay, for how long?" He goes, "Well, forever."
Right.
And that it just shows up.
And I've
Well,
been to physical therapy, and I do those stretches every day, and I feel great. I would have done them 10 years ago. But like there's so many. I mean, there's probably 5 podcasts full of things that have to do with growing older and aging and just finding ways to be okay with the process or fight the process. I am very pro plastic surgery. I have not done anything to my face yet. So for the people on TikTok or that see me that are like, "Oh, well, you you've had work done or, you've had injections." I haven't. I haven't had anything done. But I would if I was unhappy with myself or if something really bothered me, I absolutely would.
yeah, I think that I think that aging gracefully is not just saying, "Oh, well, I'm old, therefore I'm going to look old." Aging
Right.
gracefully is accepting that we're getting old, accepting that you are going to have some aches and pains, um, accepting the reality. But that doesn't mean you just let yourself go.
At
So
100%. Look at our hairstyles. You have a very cool hairstyle. Most
thank you.
men in their mid-50s probably are balding. You are not balding yet. And like you said, most women have short hair, and I'm spending a fortune to get it cut and colored and keep it long. So, I think aging is whatever. There are women who are thrilled that they are gray, that their hair is short. Um, I think it's whatever makes you feel happy.
Yep.
I wish I was like that. I wish I was like that. So somebody out there saying, "Well, you can be like that." But that's just not who I am.
Yeah.
Maybe I will be there someday, but today is not that day.
I think it's a totally individual choice. Um,
Right.
well, I'll tell you what. I think we beat that to death.
We've
And
solved aging.
exactly. So I guess everybody out there, like Pam said at the beginning, you only have 2 options. You can either get old or die. And I
Right.
think getting old is the better of the 2 alternatives. And so then
100%.
as you get old, you just do it the right way. Enjoy yourself, accept your age, but not the bad parts. How's that?
It's
Um,
perfect. And listen, I just want to add that I think that I'm a much better lover now than I was in the past. So maybe 57 is maybe as you get older, you get more confident with sex because I don't think I was ever confident about myself in bed in the past. So maybe there are also some really good things about getting older and really knowing and understanding yourself.
it's a great way to end that topic.
Yeah, hopefully
Be
I ended it with something positive.
Yeah, there you go. Before we get on to our next segment, I want to make sure everybody knows that we really love everything that you guys do for us. Your comments are always loved, welcomed, um, not just here, but on whatever platform you're listening to us, but also on TikTok and the other social media platforms. So take a minute, if you would, if you like what you're hearing, if you like what we're doing, give us a 5-star rating, write us a quick review. It doesn't have to be long, just a couple of words is all we need. Something about, I love being old, anything about
Tell us
that.
what you want us to talk about.
Yeah, give us a topic. It'd be great. Take a minute, share this podcast with your friends and family. Again, you can just hit that little share icon and send it off to them and go, "This is the greatest thing I've ever heard. You're going to love this."
Put it up on Facebook where all the Gen X and boomers will see it.
Exactly. So with that, I think we're ready to get into some email.
You've got mail.
And there it is. It's finally arrived. Okay. So here we go. Pam and Tom, I've been a listener of your podcast for a while now, and I really appreciate the insights and advice you share. Your perspective has helped me think through quite a few things. So I thought I'd reach out for some guidance on something that's been, on my mind. I'm currently in a relationship with a guy for the past 6 months who is genuinely a great person. We get along well, and he's always been supportive and kind. However, I've been feeling unsure about whether we have enough in common to take our relationship to the next level. It's something that's been bothering me, and I'm not sure how to bring it up with him. I suggest a movie, and he says, "How about a walk?" I want to go out with friends, but he would rather stay in and play a game. I want to go away for a weekend, but he can't see the point in spending the money. I've tried discussing it, but he gets upset and I back down. I'm 28 and I really thought he was the one, but now I'm not sure. Feeling unheard is how she signed it. And that's a tough situation. And we talk about age a lot. So
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm happy that this feeling unheard says that our perspectives have helped her out. Thank you. I'm glad to
Yes,
hear that, because we are certainly not experts. We
we
just have
are
some fun life experiences.
we are doing our very best.
But here's the thing. Having shit in common, yeah, that's important. But having shit that's not in common is also important. So,
That's a good point.
so I guess for me, and again, it always comes down to having a conversation, of course. Except for she says she's tried discussing it and he gets upset. So first off, if he gets upset when you try to talk about stuff like this, he's a childish asshole and a walking red flag.
Yeah, everybody should want more conversation, not less.
Yeah. But at the same time, instead of saying, do you want to go for a walk, or whatever she said, how about say, I'm going for a walk. Care to join me?
Right.
Or I'm going out with my friends. Would you like to join us? I mean, there are ways to do this so that you're not completely subject to his whims and his desires, that allows you, feeling unheard, to, it doesn't matter if you're unheard because you're still living your life. That's the first thing that I would suggest. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I think that that's semantics. I can see your
Oh, I
point
don't think it
100%.
is.
I can see your point 100%. I feel like if you're throwing an idea out as something that you would like to do, then if your partner doesn't want to do that, and they would rather do something else, and this is a consistent thing where you're pretty much never getting to do what you want to do. And it also sounds a little bit like they're not getting to do what they want to do. I think that's a bigger problem. I think that it doesn't sound like they're that far along. It sounds like you need to have enough in common that both people are enjoying the relationship. If she doesn't ever get to go away for a weekend because he's always going to be saving money, is she going to be able to still enjoy that relationship? Or is that 6 months or a year from now going to be a deal breaker for her? And at 28, she's wasted time.
Well, do we know that she's 28? Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that's interesting is I just reread it. It says, she said, I suggest a movie, and he says, how about a walk? Or I want to go out with friends.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah.
Or I want to go out with friends, and he would rather stay in and play a game. I want to
Oh,
go away for the weekend, and he can't see the point in spending money. Now that I've reread it, I think he's just a cheap bastard.
guy.
He wants to save money.
Maybe he
Hey,
doesn't have any money.
exactly. It sounds like he's poor or overly frugal. One of the
I'm
two.
telling you, I never realized that. Like when I read this, that never even occurred to me. I just thought that they were on opposite ends of the spectrum socially. But I think that that's an easy conversation to have. And if it is a money problem and she is not, if she's not in love with him or she's not feeling strongly enough about this guy to not want to do those things because he can't afford to do them, then that's a red flag for both of them.
Yeah. I mean, I as I reread it, I realized he's always suggesting free stuff.
Right. And he gets
as an
upset when she
alternative.
brings it up. He gets upset, but he probably has enough pride that he doesn't want to say, I can't afford it. So maybe like pretty early days in this relationship, like I think that within 6 months, you can start to have a gut feel. Like she says, I thought he was the one. I know that as early as 4 or 5 months, you can start to feel in your gut like this is a person that you can imagine spending your life with. But I also know that you discover a lot of things about that person the longer that you guys know each other, the more time that you spend together. But I don't think there's ever a good reason to stay in a relationship if you're not happy. And so if these things are making you unhappy, if you're unhappy in the dating stage of your relationship and a conversation doesn't solve that or it can't be had, then I'm not sure that that's the right relationship. And I'm not trying to be negative, but like that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah. Well, the other thing about this that is interesting, I think, is that she like you were saying, you both have to be happy, but I'm rereading it. It doesn't say that they live together, but it sounds like they do.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of tried to figure that out. Sometimes people don't give us enough information. Um, they've been together 6 months, so I don't think they're living together.
Yeah, but it's,
I don't.
the idea of, I suggest a movie. He says, how about a walk? I
Right.
mean, if you're not together, just meeting for a walk somewhere seems a little, you know, surface level.
I wonder if
Um,
they'd like Netflix and chill a lot, like stay in, watch a movie. I think there has to be a balance in the early days of a relationship. And maybe, you hear all the times that people want to still be courted or dated even when the relationship is older or they're married. Like, I don't think that should ever stop. Um, Going out to see a movie, going away for a weekend. I think those are things that keep a relationship fresh. So if that's not going to be something that he either wants to do or can do in the beginning of the relationship, and you don't see him ever being better financially, he could be young also. She's 28, so he might not even be, if he's 28 also, he's just starting out in life. But I think they need to figure out the reason why they don't want to do the same thing.
exactly. So I think that the way she signed it as feeling unheard should probably be signed more like feeling like I'm dating either a poor guy or a frugal guy.
Right. And
Um,
I don't know that I I can be frugal at times. I'm not poor, but I live on a budget. And so there might be times where I can't do something that I want to do. And that's just life. And that might be his situation.
yeah.
So I'm not on her side just because she wrote the letter. If anything, I think that it's good that she found out now and she needs to tell him how she feels and that these are things she plans on doing. And if he's not the partner for her, then he should be lucky enough to get out early too. If just their company, and let me tell you, at 28, I probably didn't want to sit home all the time or just do things that were free either. So I'm not judging either person, but maybe they're just not a good match.
Yeah. I mean, because maybe he's saving up for a ring. You know what I
And
mean?
right, that's very possible. But they're at 6 months. I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know. I don't know their
Yeah,
history.
but here's the thing: if she's tried discussing it, and he gets upset, I brought that up earlier. He's an asshole. If
Yeah.
he gets mad at that, that's the kind of conversation that two people need to be able to have with each other.
I 100% agree. I think if he gets upset, it's probably embarrassment.
Yeah.
Like they haven't talked about finances yet, and I guess they need to. Sometimes you have to do that earlier if it's a problem.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that. If they're in this 6 months and she's thinking he could be the one, then she really needs to know how he handles his money. And maybe he doesn't think she's the one, and maybe he just doesn't want to spend. It's possible it's not financial. My ex and I didn't like to do a lot of the same things. And so I made a bunch of friends and kept doing them, and he stayed home and sat on his computer. So there's a million reasons why they're not possibly connecting, but whatever it is, at 6 months, it's too early to settle.
Agreed.
So did we just solve dating?
Well, no, but as far as I'm concerned, if they can't figure this out like next week, they need to split up.
Well, at least they need to have a conversation. Maybe they can compromise.
Well, that's
Or
figuring it out.
maybe she makes a ton of money and she can start paying for things because she really wants to do
Yeah.
them.
Like I said, figure it out or split up
Right.
one way or the other.
Definitely talk. All right. With that said, we love your emails. Whether we agree or disagree, whether our advice is on point. If you really want us to give solid advice, you need to give us more details because we're doing the best we can with what you guys give us. But please send them in. And if you have opinions on what we've talked about or topics that you want us to cover, it is talkingphase@gmail.com. We love them. I read every single one of your emails. As you know, I send the better ones to Tom, and we try to pick one that we think we can help on. And maybe sometimes we do, and maybe we help people that are listening that are in similar relationships. So please keep sending your emails.
Absolutely. And also thank you for any messages that you send on our other social media platforms, such as the Talking Phase podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and we're very active on TikTok as well. Some of you are watching this on YouTube. Please leave your comments there. Any dating platform, listen to me. Any podcast platform that you're listening on, please give us a 5-star rating and write a little comment for us. That would be great. Tell us about your aging experience, what's falling off, what's hanging a little bit further down.
I would love to cover aging again. So I wish we would get a lot of emails just on aging. I'm sure there are things we didn't cover and many that we probably haven't even encountered or heard of. But
yeah.
I'd
Well,
like
we
to
do
read
this
those.
every single Friday. And like I said at the beginning, we're recording this one a couple of weeks early. So this one will drop on the 20th of September, if I remember correctly.
Right.
And these come out every single Friday at about 8 in the morning, unless I completely fuck things up, which I have done several times. So I apologize for that. We're getting better at this. But with that said, until next Friday, this is Pam and Tom signing off.
Have a great day, everybody, and a great week, and a great rest of your summer. And bonjour, because I am getting ready to go to France. So bonjour.
Nice.